Hi, my name is Nandria Stevens, and I will be talking about the legalization of marijuana. Marijuana should be legalized because it is beneficial to human health, but should be controlled because excessive use can be detrimental to the user and those around them. Considering cannabis. A study done in 2007 showed that over 80 million Americans have used marijuana, scientifically known as cannabis. In addition, 22 million have used it in the past year, while 11 million use it on a regular basis. Marijuana is the third most popular drug in America behind alcohol and tobacco. Why then are the laws against marijuana use still so heavily enforced? And why is marijuana seen as such a terrible drug? Anti-drug campaigns claim that marijuana is a gateway drug that leads to other harsher drugs such as heroin and cocaine. And this is nothing more than government propaganda designed to make the American population hate anything to do with marijuana. In reality, marijuana has many positive benefits. The legalization of marijuana would stimulate medical research on many different diseases and also generate greater tax revenue for medical research and less expenditure on jail space and court costs. If marijuana was made legal and accessible to buy in government-sanctioned shops after the age of 18 and also eliminate possession, American people would profit and benefit greatly. Marijuana was first made legal in 1937, or legal, in 1937, when government passed the Marijuana Tax Act. To possess the so-called drug, the government would have to issue a person a license, but as of that time, no one was provided with one, so marijuana was subsequently banned. The government officials claimed that marijuana had violent side effects, especially on other races, more specifically in the Mexican population, because many of them fled to the United States during the Great Depression to find work. This seemed to be the best way to control the borders. This also made the American people dislike all of the Mexicans even more, which made it nearly impossible for them to find work. Occasional users of marijuana will not suffer any lasting effects, nor will it harm people in any other serious way. Even The Lancet, a British medical journal, said that the smoking of cannabis, even long-term, is not harmful to health, although heavy use can have some negative side effects. But heavy use of most anything can result in negative side effects and consequences. Marijuana is probably the healthiest drug in the world. There has never been a death due to just marijuana use, and it is impossible to overdose. Frequent use can cause some short-term memory loss, yet it still has no effect on the long-term memory or intelligence of the user. Some studies have even shown that there is a little difference between heavy users and light users. Marijuana has been given the terrible reputation of being the gateway drug. This is in fact a myth put in place by anti-drug campaigns. A person's willingness to try other drugs completely depends on that person and their personality. Only about 17% of marijuana users in the United States have ever tried cocaine or other hard drugs. Despite the efforts of the gateway drug campaign, marijuana use has still risen, yet cocaine use has decreased significantly. The American government should consider Holland's drug policy. Simple use and possession is legal above the age of 18 and under an ounce, because the government controls the distribution of marijuana, which makes it far less accessible for teenagers to attain. It is said by NORML, nearly 38% of American high school seniors have used marijuana, while only 14% of Dutch teens had used it. In addition, less than 1% of Dutch teens had used cocaine in the past year. Marijuana is one of the largest cash crops in the United States, and the only things that outrank that are corn, soybeans, and hay. In the United States, marijuana profit averages around $20 billion per year, despite the harsh grow and possession laws. If marijuana was made legal, the government would probably be able to double those earnings. Also, legalizing, the government would receive greater tax revenue, and they would save money from the increased jail space and decreased court costs. If marijuana was legal, it would eliminate many of the drug dealers and the violent crimes associated with dealing, even though marijuana does not make people do violent things. Marijuana, in its natural state, is one of the safest therapeutic active substances known to man, and unlike most drugs, it does not kill brain cells. Even though many government officials say that it is not a medicine, but the truth is that marijuana can be used for many medical reasons. In a recent Medscape study, 76% of the physicians and 89% of nurses said that marijuana should be available as a medicine. Many illnesses such as nausea and even ones as serious as Alzheimer's disease and multiple sclerosis can be treated by the use of cannabis. The National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws goes on to say that preclinical and clinical data concludes that marijuana can reduce the spread of specific cancer cells. Prescription drugs are much more expensive than marijuana would be, and also much simpler to produce. Marijuana is extremely versatile and far less toxic than any other prescription drug. Even the federally sponsored Institute of Medicine has grudgingly acknowledged that marijuana has medical uses. Marijuana not only has many potential medical uses, but can also safely enhance many pleasures and ease many discomforts of everyday life. The medical use of marijuana is a growing epidemic. 14 states have already legalized the medical use of cannabis, and hopefully that number is on the rise. Because of the severity of the grow laws in the United States, it is impossible to grow hemp. Hemp, which mostly comes from the stalks of the male marijuana plant, does not contain THC, scientifically known as tetrahydrocannabinol, nor does it produce the flower desired by smokers. Hemp can be used for many different resources. One of the biggest ways people could use it now is fuel. It can be used to make a non-toxic diesel fuel that burns much cleaner, and it also takes much less energy to produce it than hydrogen or coal-burning fuel. Hemp can be domestically grown in bulk, so it will be a quick substitute for our fuel crisis. If substituted, there would be no more importing fuel, which would save government money and open up many jobs for American people. It has many other uses also, like clothing, which takes much less money and energy to produce than polyester. Also, it can be used to make building materials and paper. So we can stop cutting down so many trees. According to the Greenpeace organization, taxpayers provide over $1 billion to subsidize private logging companies that destroy our forests. There would be much less tax on hemp because of the abundance America would have. If hemp growing industries were given half of the $1 billion in taxpayer money, it would probably suffice all of America's needs, because 1 acre of hemp produces the same amount as 4 acres of trees. The Constitution was even printed on a piece of hemp paper. The declaration of marijuana is an ongoing controversial dilemma, despite all of the anti-drug campaigns and the strict laws. The marijuana arrest rates have risen 5.2% from last year, yet 89% of those arrests were only for simple possession. Even though 30% of the United States have started to undergo the decriminalization process, the rest of America still remains ignorant on the subject. The American government needs to wake up and stop spreading propaganda lies about such a wonderful substance, because all they are doing is wasting precious time on other things when there's an easy solution that's just around the corner.